I thought I was good at nightlife.
Mm.
And then I realized I wasn't good at it. What primarily I've always been good at is marketing. When the skip was hot, I would get a minimum of 200 to 300 phone calls a weekend. And then the week I closed it, boom, nobody was calling. I'll probably call you and say to me, call me. I don't think my phone is working.
Damn.
I know how to make money, but I don't know how to manage it. That also implemented or gave me a vision into the kind of partner I needed. I've always been extremely ambitious. Sometimes my ambition even scares me. I would say that since Escape, I've probably opened like 6 other businesses
Correct.
that did not work.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, that did not work. But I have learned a skill that allows me, after 3 to 6 months, I don't see that I close it shamelessly.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Stories and Journeys, where we explore the transformative power of learning, growth, and resilience. Join us as we uncover untold narratives and ignite curiosity. My name is Oluwatimilore Oyeliji. Joining us on this episode is an astute businessman, someone that has almost a decade of experience in the entertainment industry, done some fantastic job when it comes to nightlife within the space, is the master of all trades, slave to none. He's a poet, philanthropist. He's also a farmer. Is also a growth hacking marketing specialist. He's not a person than the Duke of Spades, Richard Nnadi.
Oh.
Hi, Richard.
How are you doing today? Nice to yeah. Nice
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for that overhyped introduction. So that's serious. Is that serious? Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much. So we'll just get straight to it.
Sure, man.
So let's think about 2013. In 2013, you really applied yourself, in creating innovation. You started with Escape, the nightclub. You also created e-restaurant, and you also started the Duke of Space Foundation. Fast forward to 2022 now. There's so many fantastic jobs you've done within 2024. Send projects, for example. There's so much work you've also done with Eve After Dark. There's so much work you're also doing as a chief visionary officer, for JJB Food Concepts. How's that journey been like for you?
Well, I'll say it's been full of change, and it's been full of the ability to pretty much evolve when the time came to do so. It's also been one of self-awareness, understanding thyself and looking at trends and seeing where opportunities lay, where others don't see. And then obviously taking advantage. And then once it becomes saturated, you move on.
Beautiful. There's so much work that goes into all of those things, especially looking at the fact that you are also the growth. You're also a growth marketing strategy specialist. You've done so many works, and even when it comes to the foundation as well, you've touched so many lives. What really drives you, to get all of those things done, employ people, give them an opportunity to attain and achieve their dreams? What drives you?
They say when you don't touch ground before, or when you know what the ground feels like, it's not somewhere you want to go back to. So my drive comes from one of not having and not wanting to not have anymore once you get out of that space. It's the wanting to be more every single day you wake up. It's the wanting to, how do I put this? It's the understanding also that wherever you feel you have, or whenever you feel like you've arrived and this is it, that's usually just the beginning. There's always more. Ambition is something I will say that I was born with. I've always been extremely ambitious. Sometimes my ambition even scares me in terms of what I want to achieve. But I'll say my major drive is knowing what it feels like to not have anything. And then when you get to this place where you have, you just don't want to go back. Wanting to constantly achieve more is typically a major driving tool. Yeah, I'll say that's what pretty much drives me. Just always wanting to be greater than my previous experiences. When I say things like touch the ground, I mean projections in life is never just you can't just, it's not a graph, right, where it just builds and then it starts going up. There always ups and downs. But I will say that every time you go down, make sure whenever you come back up, it is higher than where you were the first time. You constantly need to achieve more, especially in today's society where the government is not really active in terms of SMEs or businesses that are truly laying impact or have the track record to do more or to achieve more. You realize that you have nobody but yourself, and then you just have to keep pushing. I believe.
Beautiful. When I look at what you've been able to achieve, there's so much of creativity also goes into that space. Looking at it from a marketing standpoint now, growth hacking, what would you say your creative process is like?
I would say my creative process pretty much is hinged on one basic skill. Knowing thyself. You mentioned all these things that we've done and currently doing. But I will say to you that I thought I was good at nightlife. And then I realized I wasn't good at it. What primarily I have always been good at is marketing. I am somebody who I will say that everything or every space or everything I lay my hands on, I change the narrative of how it works into making it something different from what it was. Same, you can see things in applications and things like when Escape was around. Escape did revolutionize nightlife as it was. It was actually the first purpose-built nightclub from foundation up. Usually you have people that get buildings and then they add to it to brick walls.
It took you about 2-3 years.
Yeah, it took about 2 years to build.
Structure.
Yeah, it took about 2 years to build. In terms of design, the experience, the vision. And even though I will say, I can say to you now that it was a success, but what I lacked at that point was managerial skills. I knew how to make the money. I knew how to market. That's pretty much my skill. But in terms of sustainability and keeping things consistent, that you can have the ability to constantly bring in money if you don't know how to manage it. As you bring it in, I feel like, what exactly? Aside, so you see things like debts, on the thinking that everybody was your friend. And, people, when they say they will pay. Not, lo and behold, they did not pay. So I consider Escape as my master's in terms of understanding business, not just business, but also understanding more in terms of human behavior, especially in not just in the Nigerian space generally, because there was a time when Escape was hot, I would get a minimum of 200 to 300 phone calls a weekend. And then the week I closed it, boom, nobody was calling. I'll probably call you and say to me, call me, I don't think my phone is working.
Damn.
Yeah, that's how bad it was, And then, it just dawns on you that nobody really cares. Now, once you have that mindset and you understand that it is you and yourself alone in today's society, and then you understand that everybody is here to align or affiliate with you based on your position and what you offer. And once you have nothing to offer,
they all go.
That's it. You can't blame them for being this way. This is just how society works. Same way when you start a business. Nobody really supports you until you start gaining momentum. It's how people work, it's how people behave. It's not something that when you get into, you start getting emotional about, oh, my friends are not supporting me, no. It's how naturally people work. Very few people will see when you start up and then, align with you. A lot more people will just wait till you get to that point and then, they want to align. Which is very, very okay. I have no qualms in starting by myself, and then when people come at the end, you then understand that how do I make use of these people when they pull up. But it's, like I said, it's just self-understanding, understanding yourself, understanding human behavior, understanding the market, understanding when it's time to let go. I will say that since Escape, I've probably opened like 6 other businesses.
Correct.
That did not work.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, that did not work. But I have learned a skill that allows me, after 3 to 6 months, I don't see that I close it shamelessly. And I've opened businesses, and if in 3 to 6 months I don't see the profit, I close it. Well, I don't close up. Like, hey, it don't work, I don't close up. No, because I think one of the reasons why people hold on to businesses or ideas or whatever they have investments in is because they're worried about what people will say. And like I said, I understood that people don't really play a role. They would ask you, you don't close up, but they never came when it was open. I don't close up. Why not? They say, no work, I don't close up. Don't hold on to things because you expect validation from people. Because, like I said, I learned it the hard way that people really didn't care. There's some people that since Escape closed, I haven't spoken to them.
And you guys were friends, cool before?
I thought we were, but I guess now I know better. So, first of all, understanding from Nightlife, and then building into everything else. If After Dark wasn't a plan in the works, to be honest. It's something my wife really wanted us to do because we had the big house, we had a chef, we had everything, and then I still had a network per se. So people knew me. And my wife said, let's just do, it was more like, let's diversify our income into having something small on the side that we generate. And then, I was just doing on the side like something small. We had a chef, we had the kitchen, we were doing deliveries, cloud design. We were among the first people who went into the cloud design. And then once we went into that, COVID hit. And when COVID hit, we were the only ones who were aligned with our market. And then, that was it. That was pretty much how If After Dark became what it was. Because, like I said, once COVID hits, my wife stopped working, I was home, and then, she just, If After Dark went haywire. And then from there, now, it's opening in England and hopefully America by the end of the year. Even though when we started, it seemed, based on our statistics, we saw we were very big at night. So we thought we were more of a night business, even though we were, the direction was 24 hours. So that was when the NSAS came into. And then what I did during NSAS was, If After That came out very heavily in terms of supporting the protesters. So we were there during the day, giving out food, and that also kind of made people understand how you guys are open during that. Yeah. And that's how my daytime markets also improved. So like I said to you before, understanding the market, understanding the people, and then being able to evolve, being able to understand change, and then obviously jumping into the water or the wave of change will help any business or any person who wants to go into business survive and give you longevity over a period of time.
Beautiful. I want to down back something you said earlier around self-love. What does it really mean? So I'm a 22-year-old lad, I'm just trying to find my fit. I have big dreams, I have aspiration, I'm still struggling with some puberty stuff. There's so many adrenaline in all of those sort of things. So what's self-love? How did you come about it?
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
So also there are two different generations. When I'm talking to a Gen Z person, I would say I currently feel like they apply too much pressure on themselves. I see some very young guys trying to achieve at 22 or 20 what has taken some people 50 years to get, which is very okay. But that kind of pressure is not the kind of pressure you want to put yourself on at that point in time. I would say try everything you can, fail as woefully as you can, I would say, but when you fail, pick up something from it and then take that back and improve on it. You can never really get it right at that age. It's hard. Some people can. It's good to have ambition, but open yourself to trying new things, open yourself to failing, open yourself to learning, open yourself and train yourself in the art of getting up.
The art of getting up.
Because you will fall a lot. And once you fall, get up. Don't get up and start aiming for where you were if you were high up. If you were here and then you fell, don't think you can go back here immediately. You have to then get back on your feet like a baby. Once again, you will learn how to walk, and then before you run, before you can surpass your previous. But I will say to them, or I'll say to 20-year-old now, for you to become self-aware or become woke, it comes from a huge level of failure. Before you know yourself, you must understand your strengths and your weaknesses. You can only find these things out by experiences, by understanding what you're good at, understanding what you're not good at, before you arrive at your final self. And the final self is never even met. I don't think anybody ever achieves their true their true self. But true self, in all honesty, is not cast in stone. Every day you learn, every day you grow. Put yourself in a space where you constantly learn. I had no mentor,
Really?
I had no mentor coming up. I pretty much learned from my mistakes. And luckily for me, I have an amazing wife who's also very supportive, because what I said to you about escape was, I know how to make money, but I don't know how to manage it. That also implemented or gave me a vision into the kind of partner I needed. Because like I said, if you know you don't know how to do spreadsheets, you will start learning how to do spreadsheet at 40. You don't know how to do certain things. Your partner or whoever you decide to spend the rest of life with, to be able to achieve your full potential, comes with somebody who brings that better half in terms of what you don't have. And my wife has a master's in accounting. She's amazing at what she does. She has ACCA. She's worked with Deloitte. She was the GM for Zara Cosmetics. And like I said, it was just, once I knew what I didn't have, I knew exactly what I was looking for. And in all ramifications, she completes me.
Beautiful.
So I'll say to you, I can open businesses easy now because I have a very strong backbone. Before, I would just open and run into things. But now I say, oh, Alpha Madam, come and see this idea. She's like, okay. And then when I'm talking to her, she's brought up her system, put it on a spreadsheet and say, do it. And you just see everything all red. She's like, Richard, this thing not going to make per year. And it says, okay, unless you have some special strategies to put in place, based on that, this might change. But now we're no longer running blind. We're running more with facts and numbers. But before I could get here, like I said, it came from a long line of failures and understanding what I wasn't good at and knowing what I was good at, and then completing myself with the right partner and my amazing wife.
Beautiful. I want to pick on something you said. What role do you think data plays in marketing?
Oh my God. Data plays everything. Data is everything. Data is, in fact, as a human being, your life is data. When you understand your individual running costs as a human being, that means every month, aside your rent is 5 million, it means in Every month you're paying roughly what's 5 divided by 5 million divided by 12 will give you your monthly.
For 7 something.
We'll give you about that. You understand that you pay DSTV, you have Wi-Fi, you have this, you have that. You average what you sell or what you buy in fuel monthly. You can put together a list and say, look, my running cost is between $1 million to $2 million naira monthly. Your grocery shopping average, you can have that. The understanding what that data is influences how you price yourself.
Okay.
It influences how you charge.
Okay.
It influences because now you have a target. But if you're just running blind and say, oh, hey, Wi-Fi will come, this one will come, you will never really understand what you're paying. And if you understand what you're paying, you won't know what you're charging, and then you just realize you're doing hand to mouth.
Correct.
That is the basis of data as first a human being before applying it into your business. First, your data. If you understand your data, you understand how to live. Understanding how to live will give you the comfort and the ability to do everything else. Because first, self, know thyself, and then before you can. But once you do that, and then you're able to see in clarity what your sales looks like, you know, oh, I did this marketing, this happened, this spike came up, it didn't come up. You'll be able to be more intentional in terms of what you want to do and how you want to do it. Data is life first. Once you understand data and you understand that your life is in numbers, you understand, or when you understand your life and everything is, you know, when we were growing up, we tried to teach us maths. It wasn't fun. But once you understand it the way you understand it, it becomes a little bit more easier. You know, so I will say data is life. Data makes everything so much easier. It makes it easier to understand because 1 + 1 will always be 2. So it will never be 4. You know, so yes, data is extremely, extremely important. Even in terms, like I said, marriage, my data showed me.
Yeah, I needed this kind of partner.
Exactly. My data showed me. My data from previous businesses I had done moving forward showed me what I was lacking. If I didn't have that data and I didn't have that understanding, I wouldn't know what I'm looking for. You know, so data is very important. Data is also not just in numbers, but also in memories and remembering mistakes. So yes, data is life.
Beautiful. I think I love that response, but I want to go back to your partner. You got married in 2019, a very big wedding, you know. When you get to that life stage, you know, you're trying to settle down and look for a partner. Yes, you clearly mentioned what you were looking out for, but do you think that life stage also brought about certain blessings, you know, certain level of, you know, reality check?
No. There are different things that were thoughts growing up that I don't agree with. I don't agree that when you're married, people treat you differently. People treat everybody the same, married or not. So when you're married, they'll give you more deals. I don't feel about that. People feel, or if you're married, you know, people respect you more. I don't know about that. Like I said, people align what they want to align with. People will leave when they see there's nothing to offer. So marriage or not, same thing they'll tell you, when you have kids is a blessing. If you don't get money, you born. I said, well, you know, I really don't know how that works. But in my experience and my understanding, marriage is not 100%. It's not even 60% about love. I have been in relationships. Before I got married, I've been in love a couple of times, or I thought I was in love, where I have also seen that love can disappear in 30 minutes. Somebody does something like, you know, as this is the person, and then before you know, one or two, you don't end. I would say everything else constitutes more in terms of picking a life partner. And love is the icing on the cake. So when you're baking a cake, you have the flour, you have the sugar, you have all that is conversation All that is understanding, commitment, being able to trust. Knowing that, look, if I tell this person to do this thing for me, they got me. All these things are the things that build into the love that I have today for my wife. But it's just, I think the major key is self. If you know yourself, you know what you don't have. People focus too much on what they have and not what they don't have. I know what I don't have, so it helps me align into what I need to be able to get to completion. Right? What you're good at is what you're good at. What you're not good at is what is setting you back. How do you get that part of what you don't have to become 100 or 90 or 80% compared to when you were 50 with what you have? It's a very key thing in terms of choosing your partner. When you see things like missing a but better half, they do mean quite a bit. It means complete me. It means my ability to become a better person. My ability to reach my true potential comes from marrying the right person. So I can say if I open 20 businesses in 1 year, every business I open is handled back end by my wife. She earns salary on every business I open. So if I open this, okay, this one, I'm charging you 1 million. So she generally earns salaries from every business I open. That way she's probably eating more than I am. But I have no fear. I can sit down with you for 3-4 days and nobody will call me and tell me that their rice is finished. Wow. So my focus is to bring in, right? Her focus is to make sure everything stays grounded.
Well structured.
It keeps you away from things that will distract you. If someone's calling, guy rice don't finish, this is dispatch rice, I don't do this, all that stuff will take you away from
what you ought to focus on.
Exactly. So it gives you clarity. It makes you more efficient. So I would say marriage is good and marriage is perfect when you have the right person and the right partner.
Beautiful. I want to dial back a bit. What was growing up like for you?
Growing up wasn't bad. I come from a middle class family. I went to King's College. I'm a full-blown KC boy. My dad did his best. He wasn't the richest of them. He wasn't even, I would say he was rich from middle class man. But he understood the foundations that needed to be laid, even if he meant, which is what he did. He had to sell his land at some point to make sure we went to the best schools, because exposure is key. Somebody a boy from a poor home whose father spent all his money to make sure he went to Atlantic Hall or a school where his kid would meet rich kids, will end up not being like his father. Because we know that the people you associate yourself with, correct, will help project who you are. Growing up, I went to good schools. I went to Air Force first, and then from Air Force, primary school, and then from there, went all the way to King's College. But this also gave me the exposure. So even though I think then we used to live in Ojota.
Oh, okay.
That's where that's where we were renting at that point in time. And, growing up, I feel like, this was what it was. But when I got to King's College, and then I met kids, like, I had friends whose parents were former vice presidents. I had friends whose parents, they're lucky jazz. I had friends who would travel one weekend to go and buy a bag in America and come back. Yeah. You go to your friend's house, you're like, wow. So that exposure, having that exposure, and then going back home to Ojota and looking at people gave me a different light. Maybe like, man, I don't belong here. There's so much more to achieve. Like, this is, so there's more. I had seen more. So I believe that there was more, you know, and that's, like I said, that foundation of exposure pretty much gave me insights and gave me vision into what I could become, and made me understand that wherever I was minimal, you know. So change your friends, change your space, change your mentality comes with a lot of exposure, you know. So I would say I came from a very dedicated family who was dedicated to growth. Also, when I wanted to go into nightlife, because I was also pretty young, when I was in uni, my dad was the one who supported me. He says, really? Yeah, my father said I should go. My mom said no. My mom's family members also said no. Oh, you know, because the mentality is drugs, this, that. But my father understood that this was a place for you to go to and meet people and get the opportunity to, you know. So he supported, and my mom didn't. My mom, even though today, this my same uncles, or my uncle's kids now own some of the biggest nightclubs. Wow. Yeah. And that's shout out to my cousins. They own Play Abuja 345, 245 here. Play Hilton, that's Charles Opalike, because my mom is Opalike. Like I said, when I started it, I was very young. His dad didn't thought it was a useless lifestyle. Even when they wanted to go in, their dad said it was a useless lifestyle. And until they became very successful at what they were doing, only then did the father now come to the club and align. Oh, you know, yeah. Rest his soul, was a great guy. He now started coming there with his other friends, and then, you know, and I said, oh, my son's on this, you know. But like I said, initially they had that mentality of nightlife was useless, until, you know, they start seeing the fruits of what it is in terms of, you know, I would say that my dad has been a huge supporter. So from going to King's College and going into nightlife set the pace for everything that I am today. The people I know, the acquaintances I have met, escape, everything I am comes from that one time when I started going into nightlife. And nightlife was, I used to be at the door. I used to open doors for people. Yeah, when I was in Unilag. But I was also the youngest one in nightlife at that point in time. So a lot of my peers who wanted to come and experience it, a lot of them came through me.
I see.
You know, I was when people like Banky was moving back. So they would meet me at the door, you know, and that's how I started, you know, it helped me build pretty much my profile. And then going through that phase and having met all these people, and even though they all also grew from that look, from where they were to where they are today, I wasn't stagnant either. So as they were growing, I had gone from doorman to manager to this, to building my own, you know. So I had that, as they were also growing, that also kept the relationship together. Because, like I said, if one person is growing and the other person is not growing, if they drop you along the way, you're not going to blame anybody but yourself. And once again, when escape dropped, everybody dropped. Until you come back and you build, you after that, and then you know that, and then they start aligning. And you now learn that when your ovation is good, is when you start opening other things. Don't wait for one to start dying before you start opening other ones, because the truth is, people can sense when things are not going well for you. You don't have to say, business is not good. They can tell, like, this one weighing on the, because that one, no, they're working on now. Yeah. But when people say, you trying, so we're doing great, you know, we're even opening, at that point, you start breaking out. New products, because you also understand that nothing stays forever. But once you have ovation, and once people are respecting what you do, start opening other stuff, because then that ovation now transfers to other things. So even if one thing or the original start failing, you have other things. Boom. Exactly. This also comes from a place of failure. There's absolutely nothing wrong in saying I can't do it. You know, I understand that I want to take everything on the table, but I also want to be able to have my self-respect. I want it to be known that Richard is a man of his words. I want it to be known that Richard will not say something he cannot do. Hence, when you say you're doing something, people are lying because they know this guy ain't bluffing.
True.
You know, I value time more than anything. I value self-respect. I value people who know who they are and stick to what they know. If you don't know, you don't know. I'm not coming here to tell you that I'm the best business owner. I'm telling you today that I am good at what I do. My wife is amazing at what she does. I don't know how to do this, but I have somebody who knows how to do it. The most brilliant minds are not brilliant by themselves. The most brilliant minds are those who know what they don't have and bring people together who have those things that they don't have to become the most brilliant minds. The most brilliant minds don't do things alone. They do things by putting together the right team and the right people. Elon Musk is not the one sitting under the car and connecting wire. He knows that there's one guy at Harvard that is the best at blah, blah, blah. He brings us here. And he creates that team to get Tesla. Same thing with Facebook. A lot of the most, like I said, most successful guys are not doing things by themselves. Jazzy is not the one that does the beats. Jazzy is not the one that records the songs. Jazzy is not he doesn't even do produce like that anymore, unless it's, oh, Jazzy produce something for me. But he understands bringing together teams of people to be able to achieve Maven. You know, knowing what you don't have gives you an understanding you don't have it, gives you insight into knowing what you need to get to become holistic.
Beautiful. I think that's a fantastic place to leave it. I want to say a very big thank you to you for.
No problem. I'm very glad you picked me to pull up to have this conversation. It's been amazing.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Richard. I really appreciate it.
No problem.